Former All-Pro linebacker Al Smith with us, 365 Sports. We're in New Orleans. Paul Catalina, too. I'm David Smoke. You know, the low T, let's go with that. Let's start with that. It affects your mood, your energy, your sleep habits, your sex drive. It could be ED. It could be your focus. Like, it's got the full meal deal.
It got everything. One thing about low T in this partnership, it's a great partnership in that we're able to keep our energy levels up. Just being here, ready to roll, walking around, you know how it is. I mean, at the end of the week, you're ready to go sit in the corner somewhere.
Right.
So, you know, you keep your energy level up, your libido, your mood. All those things are something that helps us with the everyday life to keep us vibrant, to keep us strong, to keep us in a place where we can be productive, not just for ourselves, but for our families.
So, Al, you know, how did you get involved with low T? And there's low T centers all over the place, right? And people can just look and find out they're in their area?
Yes. Yeah, they look for it in the area. They're in 10 different states. But at the same time, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. They're big in Texas as well. You know, as a man, you know, you want to keep your low T levels up. You know, for the reasons that I described earlier. We have a partnership. You know, I get my blood pressure checked. You know, keep my levels strong. It keeps my energy level up. I mean, from being a former player, being real in tune with your health. And in retirement, a lot of times you see a lot of guys that go the opposite direction. They let their health go. And I was wanting to be real intentional, just like I may have been on the field, to be able to be on top of those type of things because your health is your wealth, and I'm very, very, very passionate about that.
I'm curious because you were an Oiler and a Titan, like you were there in the transition. How do the former players who went through that, like, what city do you identify with as like I'm of, or is it the organization that you're kind of representing?
Well, at this point, it's the organization I'm representing because the team moved, obviously.
Yeah.
There was a time when Houston got the Texans, when the Oilers moved and they went to Tennessee. The Texans wanted their own identity. You know, they didn't really resonate with the Oilers. Tennessee got this new team. And they wanted to resonate with their new team. They didn't care about the Oilers or Houston or what have you. So you had a generation of players, whether it be the Earl Campbells, the Dan Pastoridis, the Ken Burrows of the world, all those Mike Renfro's, all those guys from the, you know, that's like a lost era. That was a great era. Evan Bethea, Robert Bazile, all these guys that don't have a home. I mean, they didn't resonate in Houston, and in Tennessee didn't. So what Tennessee Titans did, and Amy Adams, which is Bud's daughter, was able to bring the alumni together. Now they have a Oiler Titan alumni, and it's combined, and the guys are really appreciative of that.
Yeah, that was that late 70s Love You Blue when Earl and Pastorini, Brazil, and all the others that they had a great run. Boy, they knocked on the Super Bowl door.
Beating on it.
Beating on it. In fact,
they still say Renfro caught that pass in the back of his eye.
And you know what? I happened to be watching. It was like one of those Twitter clips or whatever. He absolutely got both feet down.
Oh, yeah.
And they took forever to try to do it. And I wonder, hey, guys, I think he got both feet in bounds, but we're in Pittsburgh, and these people are crazy. You know, he did get both feet. The replay showed that he did.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely showed that he did. Obviously he's in the past, but that's the difference in being in the Super Bowl and not being in the Super Bowl.
Okay, when you were in the league, which running back was the one that during the week you're going to be like, this is going to be a long week?
Well, during the week, going against Barry Sanders for me was very tough. I mean, Barry wasn't like a huge back, but he was quick. He was powerful, low center of gravity, and you couldn't see him. He would hide behind the line, the offensive lineman, and then he was so fast and explosive that he would just explode through the hole, and it'd be so tough to get him. I would have to say Barry. I like him as a player. I like his demeanor. I like his professionalism. He always played hard. He always gave you his best. And I respect, some people gave him static for retiring, but I can respect him for leaving on his terms, and he still had a lot in the tank.
Did you see the documentary that he did about it with his sons? It was on Amazon. I highly recommend it. It's the first time he's really like told the story, even to his sons. Like he kind of kept it from them, and like just how he had these kind of moments when the light came on and said, "Look, I don't have this in me anymore." Hey. And that I think that's a very admirable thing.
And I can understand that as a former player. It gets to the point where, hey, if I can't give my best, if I can't give my all to the fans and give you the product that that you're yearning for, that you're looking for, well, then you're cheating the game.
And your teammates too, right?
You're cheating the game, your teammates, you're cheating yourself. So I can respect a man that leaves on his terms and has conviction to it.
I've heard that if a player starts thinking about retirement, they're retired. Is that true?
Somewhat, I would say, because of the fact that when if it's in the back of your mind, every little thing, a hard day, a tough situation could put you in a place where I really don't want to do this no more. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that when it gets late in your career and different injuries and different things like that, it gives you an opportunity. It really makes it tough for you.
Al Smith with us, Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans at Radio Row, New Orleans, Super Bowl 59.
You went through an interesting array of coaches too, right? With Jack Pardee, was it right when you first, was he there when you started?
Yes. No, Jerry Glanville started
Jerry
out.
Glanville, oh yeah.
And then Jack
Pardee.
Yeah. And then half a season, interim Jeff Fisher.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you had – okay, so when you're a rookie and you go into the league and Jerry Glanville is your head coach, one of the most bizarre coaches ever, in a good way, I guess. I mean, like, I guess it depends on your perspective. He was kind of a crazy guy. What were your impressions of him?
Of Jerry?
Yeah.
Well, Jerry was a very interesting guy. Obviously, Elvis. He probably still leaving tickets for Elvis Elvis at the games. And he was a good coach. He had a different approach, but he was a winner. He liked the physical style of defense, and he was tough on players, but at the same time, he was fair.
He was different. He was kind of like Johnny Cash of football coaches or something like that, the country singer.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah. Well, he was always in black, so that was his kind of his
that
thing.
was his, like the bad guy. Now, Al, you played a good amount of time. There's, the average NFL career, you always hear it depends on what position, but could be 3.5 years if you're lucky. You played over a decade. How did you maintain your health? And were there times when, man, you were getting beat up and wondered how much longer you'd go?
You say how many times?
Yeah, was it at the end of your career when it was time? You played a long time. That takes a commitment physically and mentally.
Yeah, well, when the injuries, when the injuries catch up, and the injuries start, pounding on you, and you start feeling the injuries, that's the tough part about it. It gives you, it puts you in a place that makes you really think about retirement, gives you the opportunity to do things, and it just makes it tougher and tougher to come back and do all those practices because it wears on you mentally, it wears on you physically, and when all of a sudden you cannot give your best or be at your best because that game is not a game that you can play with. Football is a game you have to be at your best. Otherwise, you cheat yourself, you get hurt, and it can be very detrimental to yourself. So if you're not fully committed to it, it's time to move away from the game.
The NFL alumni, an organization you are very involved in, and really, I mean, I'm impressed every year with the different things that they do and keep on to make sure that players are taken care of, that there's events that it's a really cool organization.
Yeah, so our mission is caring for community, caring for kids, caring for our own. One of the things that we do out in the community, we talk about obesity, we talk about cancer, we're talking about shingles. One thing about cancer, especially colorectal cancer, we as men, getting our screenings. If you have history in your family, getting screening early, all those type of things are big, and we're trying to promote that. We try to promote it to the community being our fans that cheered for us or booed at us or whatever the case may be, but we resonate with each other. But this is a chance for a lot of our players, some of our ambassadors are Warren Moon, Javon Curse, Chris Johnson, Blaine Bishop. We have a lot of Neil O'Donnell. We have a lot of guys that are really passionate about this to really be able to give back and preach the health and wellness aspect and give that back to the community that has served us so well, and it's a way for us to serve them as well.
Did you have someone do that with you when you were in L.A., right?
I grew up in
LA. You grew up in L.A. and then went Utah State.
Went to Utah State.
Did you have anybody that touched you a little bit as far as that came back and tried to give back or not?
Yeah, well, I had a few guys that really kind of taught me. Well, it started out in a couple of different dynamics as far as the profession, going from that amateur to being a professional, teaching how to be a professional, how to conduct yourself, and that carried on into the community. As far as a lot of guys don't resonate when they're young and don't get the whole community thing, because a lot of guys are like, I'm going to do my job and go home and kind of be in your bubble. But as you know, the community are where sponsors are. Community are where fans are. Community are where all these individuals that are potential employers down the road. All these different things. And once you understand that and go from an amateur to a professional and understand those dynamics, I was very fortunate to have an older brother who was drafted before me, a couple years ahead of me. So I was able to be exposed a little bit.
Right.
And I got exposed to what professionals look like. He played with the Broncos, and they had, he was a linebacker too. He had Tom Jacksons and Randy Gradishars and all those guys back in the day, Jim Ryan. If you remember some of those old guys from back in the day. So I was able to kind of see them going into my last years of college, and it gave me the opportunity to really see what professionalism looked like.
Man, I remember getting to know you a little bit when you were with the Oilers. Great to see you again. Keep up the great work. We really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much. But everybody get checked, stay healthy, and your health is your wealth.
Well, I mean, you mentioned you got to get your every part of your body. I mean,
exactly.
And you catch it before it becomes a problem. Al Smith, NFL All-Pro linebacker, Pro Bowl linebacker for the longest time, too, with us on 365 Sports.